Hello, it's Simon here, and I want to share a story with you. It all started when I was sitting in my salon office one day having a bit of a pity party. You see, I'd just lost my last good money taker, leaving me with 3 staff who either needed a lot of training or some, let's be polite about it and call it attitude management. Now, I want you to understand that I didn't have time to manage or train anyone properly because I was the only one left who was fully booked. It was my takings that were keeping the salon afloat. This meant that my remaining staff would now be a well-paid audience who stood around watching me work my backside off to pay their wages, leaving me feeling very upset, frustrated, and blaming them and everyone else for my problems. Now, you might have had a similar experience in the past, but the funny thing is, as I sat there feeling so sorry for myself, I had a light bulb moment, as I suddenly remembered something that I'd been told by another salon owner years before. He said, "Never forget, Simon, your salon will always be a reflection of you. If you don't like what you're seeing there, the answer will always be in the mirror." I remember thinking, what does my salon say about me then? And the answer came back straight away. It says, Simon, you are the problem. In that moment, I knew I had to change, and the good news is I did. What followed was nothing short of a miracle, because I learned how to master my psychology, and as I changed, my salon changed. It changed because my staff problems began melting away, as the team of people who appeared to be my biggest problem started working well together. My money problems began melting away as well, as I finally understood how to be a better me, and by working with human nature, how to get the best out of other people as well. Here's another true story that provides real proof of the power that learning how to master your psychology can give you. 18 months after the pity party we were talking about a minute ago, and 18 months after I started making the changes as well, I became ill. I went to the doctor and he shocked me by saying, "You've got to have 6 months off." You can imagine how I felt when I went back to the salon and with no notice called a staff meeting where I said, "I've got to have 6 months rest. You're going to have to run the salon for me." They panicked, but I pointed out, "You've actually been running it for the last year or so. It's just that I haven't told you." Now, once they got over the shock as well, they accepted the challenge, and when I went back 6 months later, they'd absorbed my column and actually grown the business. Let me be specific here. My salon turnover had actually grown, despite the fact that I was the main money taker before I left. And remember, we didn't even take on another stylist to replace me. Would your salon grow if you took 6 months off with no notice? By the way, just in case you're wondering, there was no manager in place to do the job for me. The salon was, and still is, run by a group of normal girls who are well recruited, well organised, well trained, and who actually enjoy working together. This means their success wasn't an accident. It was simply the natural result of the way I trained, coached, and worked with them. All this only happened because I finally understood that until I changed on the inside, I would never see consistent progress and growth on the outside. All this means if you want your business to change, you have to change first, and you start by mastering your psychology,